I'm so excited to tell you about our partner, Isomer Skincare Laboratories. You guys, rooted in science and integrity, in the best ingredients and best delivery systems. Unlike any other skincare on the market, for over 30 years, they've been giving you the real science. So this isn't trend. This isn't the hot ingredient of the day on TikTok. This is 30 years of solving your skincare problems. So we're partnering with them today. Happy 20, HAPPY20 gets you 20% off your order. You have free shipping and handling at $100 or more, and they have a solution for every problem. Mature, aging skin, they've got you covered. Sinking, sagging skin, they've got you covered. You can take a really easy test on isomers.ca. And it will tell you, it will recommend exactly what you need for your skincare needs. Or you can go in there and find some of their icons like the Copper P serum. They've got an amazing pure hyaluronic acid, nothing but hyaluronic acid. Their Fast Lift Eye Serum is an industry icon. That's all available at their website. You go to isomers.ca, you use the code HAPPY20. Please use that so they know that we sent you. You get 20% off your order. You'll get free shipping and handling at $100 or more. And if you don't know where to start, take that quiz. It will tell you exactly what to do. Happy 20 at isomers.ca. So happy you're here.
So happy you're here.
Your buns look good today. You look good today. You look real cute today, Bex.
Thanks so much.
Look at those cute pink polka dotted pants.
Do you know my process when I'm thinking about outfits?
I do not know your process.
I literally pull up my notes app in my phone and I say 50-degree day, kind of chilly, feeling springy. Like I say all the things that I'm thinking. So like with you, Aaron will be there. So kind of amp it up a little bit.
And then here I am in my sweats. Because Becky and I were going to take a walk this morning, but in a weird twist from Mother Nature, we went from 90 degrees last weekend to 40 degrees today.
I can't keep track of her.
40.
Yeah.
She is out of her mind.
No.
She is out of her mind. She missed her meds.
And I'm...
Come on, Mother Nature. What is going on?
Pull it together, sister.
It is late May and it's 40 degrees. And I thought we were going to try to go on a walk, but then I'm happy Becky called it. She said it was too cold. So I said, amen, sister. But I didn't take my walking clothes off. So I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, but that's the cutest little walking clothes you ever did see.
Well, thank you. It's my favorite sweatshirt. These holes are on purpose. Please don't think that I've gone off the deep end.
Is this part of the We Do Not Care Club?
Yes. Have you all been watching the We Do Not Care Club? Melanie is her name. If you can find her on TikTok or Instagram. Hysterical. I am nominating Becky to be the president of the Minnesota chapter.
Yes.
I think you'd be a great chapter president.
Thank you very much. It's devoted to perimenopausal and menopausal women and what we do not care about.
No.
From hair removal to our level of heat.
To how long it takes you to put that receipt away at the grocery store before you move on to the next person.
Ooh, also, I'm waiting on you to move your car at the Costco's. Oh let's wrap it up.
Yeah, you know what I don't care about anymore? I shared this with Becky earlier. My kids scream at me. Mom, you have a screen on your car. Back up. You can see everything. I got to do a full twist. I got to check the rear view mirrors. I got to adjust this mirror 16, 17 times. It takes me 10 minutes to back out of my driveway.
Yeah, safety first.
Now, it could be because of that garage story I told you.
It's PTSD.
It could be because one time I took the roof of my car off on the garage door. And if you don't know that story.
And made her youngest.
No, that's
terrible.
Cover it up. So this is just something, this isn't a lie, honey. It's just something we don't tell Dad.
Yeah, a fib. Just a little.
And then when John goes, does anybody know what happened to the garage door? And James, got to feed the hogs, Dad. Got to get my chores done. Wow, what a day. Look at the time. I'm going to get to bed.
Would love to chat.
It's already 6:15 at night. I better put myself to bed now while the sun's out. Anyway, if you're not following, what's it called? We Do Not Care?
We Do Not Care Club.
Oh,
Yes.
follow it. Girls, I think we all belong there. And I'm going to nominate Becky to be the president of the Minnesota chapter. And I think you'll work your way up to probably like regional president of the Midwest chapter.
Oh, this is going to be like a Jimmy Hoffa situation.
Yeah,
I'm going to be running the Teamsters.
Yes, I'm going to get paper clips and start just paper clipping notes to Becky's shirt. You'll see what that means.
To her. Let's reach out to her.
We should reach out to Melanie.
She'd be terrific.
I love her.
Well, we did reach out to someone.
Who?
Her episode today.
Our guest today
is phenomenal.
Yes.
We've outdone ourselves.
We really have outdone ourselves. We've teased this a little bit earlier, but Kimberly Wells is joining us today. So you guys, not only is she joining us, she surprised us with a guest of her own.
You guys, you want to watch us lose our ever lovins. It's about to happen.
So just so you know, as you're about to watch this, Becky and I, we've been in contact with Kimberly. If you didn't know, she's a cruise ship director, which is so cool.
Cool gig.
And she tells us about how she got into it and what she does there and everything. And she's just so fun to talk to. And we've been talking with her for a few months now, because as soon as we asked for guests, so many of you said Kimberly Wells. You know, she's,
Right.
I didn't know she was going to be 60 in December. She shared that. She's going to be 60 in December.
Fan-flippantastic.
She looks great. She's doing great.
And by the way, she had a window, like literally one.
She had a 4-day window where
Yes.
she's like, I got to get all my appointments in on land. I got everything done. And I'm like, great. So fit us in.
So what I hear you say,
Yeah, what I'm hearing
you're
from
prioritizing the pod.
is you want to come on our podcast. So she was at an Airbnb down in Florida.
Yeah.
And we set it all up just like we've set up our other guests that have Skyped in or Zoomed in or whatever works now. And I'd say about 10, 15 minutes in, she gave us the shock of our lives with her own guest,
So good.
who joined us then for the remainder of.
And by the way, to be so gracious, to offer us her time, but then to go to the next level.
And bring another friend in.
A superstar.
It was really fun. Yes, it's a superstar. I think almost all of you will recognize
Yes.
this guest.
Yes.
If you don't, you'll still love hearing from this guest. And the interview is still about Kimberly. We take a walk down memory lane as we do. We talk about her life before she got into home shopping, a little bit after.
Some good life lessons.
Really good life lessons. She has, what happened in her transition out of Shop HQ and into her next chapter of life, which was really meaningful.
And the girlfriend thread that runs through her life. She's like you. She's a people collector. So good at uplifting other women.
Yes. So I hope you enjoy this podcast. I think you'll really like it, whether you're in home shopping or not. And to that note, we have had a lot of guests on that obviously we met through home shopping, but we think they're all interesting beyond home shopping.
That's why
it
we bring them to you.
Exactly. It sounds like you think so too, but we are going to dabble, in other things than home shopping as we move forward.
For sure.
Right? Things that are interesting. No more compulsive urges or
We don't know.
and or embarrassing moments at the park. Becky just reminded me of the shit and split the other day. I forgot about that. Oh, that's from a really early episode. The old shit and split. If you do need just a giggle, you can go back and listen to that. So
Telling you.
we have things in the works that, as we figure out timing and what have you, we'll continue to talk about home shopping, but of course also interesting stories and people that are also outside of home shopping.
Fascinating friends.
Right?
We're lucky.
We are really lucky, and we're most lucky to have all of you here. We're so happy to have you here. You look amazing. Stay tuned. Here comes Kimberly Wells and her very special guest.
Stay tuned.
Enjoy. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. You've been asking, you've been begging, you've been waiting. The one, the only, everybody's favorite mentor, everybody's hype girl, living her best life. It's Kimberly Wells. Crowd goes wild.
Wow, what an intro that was.
Hi, Kimberly Wells.
Hi, friends.
Welcome to So Happy You're Here. Thank you for making time for us now that your feet are on land for like 5 days.
I am so happy to be here. Cheers, first of all, to the two of you.
Chin.
You are doing, rocking it out with this podcast. I'm so honored to be a part of your little show. I'm so excited for you. Are you just having the best time?
Well, we've never shied away from a microphone or a camera, Kimberly. So, I mean,
Why are you not drinking wine with me? What's happening? What's going on?
we're an hour behind you.
Oh,
And I guess I could have poured wine.
I think we absolutely should.
Should I pour wine while
Yes.
we catch up? I mean, I'm more than happy to pour some wine. So I'll do that. I'm going to do that real quick. Get some wine. Okay.
And then we'll pour one out for Shop. You heard about Shop. That's the tie that binds. That's what brought us all together.
that is what brought us all together. But how awesome that we're all doing so well when we're apart.
Exactly.
Cheers to that.
And now we're properly ready
Here we go.
to interview the one and only Kimberly Wells. Okay,
to
thank
you, my love.
Our first glass of wine on the podcast. I can't think of a better person.
As far as you know.
I feel like there's probably so much that goes on behind the scenes that the gals don't know, but we would expect that of the two of you.
Oh, girl.
Lots on the cutting room floor.
If you could see behind the scenes, it's wild. But more importantly, we have you here. And you know what, Kimberly? Not that we're not honored that you're here, But when we put out the alarm, you know, our little network that could until it couldn't is shut down. We're going to get as many people in here as you like. I cannot tell you how many women specifically wrote back and said, find Kimberly Wells.
Yes.
Where has she been? We need to know how she is. So thank you for being here for us, but also for all the gals who have been missing you for so long.
Oh, thank you. You all know how hard that is when you're like ripped out of that family and that community of, you know, people that have been part of your lives for decades. And so that was hard. And so thank you. It's an honor. Thank goodness for social media, because I've been able to stay moderately connected, and it's been a beautiful thing. But the community that you guys have built is so how are Angie and Sarah and Maya and all the girls? What's happening?
Everybody's doing so well. It was, it was a hard, everyone had kind of a slow walk away. So like Kimberly, what year did you depart the network? Catch me up.
October 2019.
Yeah. So we've all been on a journey. Maya was, not far after you. She had her little bebe, and she's doing great in Vermont. She's doing, I think, wedding.
Vermont.
Yeah, she's doing makeup.
She's doing hair and makeup. Sarah Skillrood left after you did. I left and came back. I think what we have established in the last few weeks here, Kimberly, especially since we departed this final time, is basically, since you departed the network, everything went downhill, honey.
Yeah,
it was basically... Listen, I didn't put the two and two together, but almost everybody agrees around the end of 2019, 2020.
Beginning at the end.
Things started happening and everybody's kind of aligned. And now we see clearly.
Yeah.
It was obviously with the departure of you, we couldn't keep up, girl. We just couldn't keep up.
Our magnet.
But everybody's doing so well. So we do have to remind everybody, not everybody has met us through home shopping.
Yes.
So if you haven't met Kimberly Wells before, she is one of the greatest hosts in the industry. She's credited by a lot of people as being their favorite mentor, their first mentor. Everybody's like, oh, I learned that from Kimberly. I learned first from Kimberly. So we are going to talk home shopping for sure. But Kimberly does have a life before, during, and after home shopping.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go back. Yeah.
Kimberly, what were you doing before home shopping, and how did you find yourself here?
Oh my goodness. All right. So fifth generation Florida native. Here's the Cliff Notes.
Yes, hit it.
Had been an entertainer right out of high school, started dancing on ships. And from ships went to New York, did Broadway shows, things like that. And while I was in New York, which was 1990 to 2000, actors all do right? And so I was doing the tour, which is every year at the Javits Center, as well as in the Toy Building, which is over off of 5th or 6th or something, I can't remember. There is the Toy Fair where all the newest toys for the next year are being showcased. So I was working for the Ohio Art Company. Do you gals remember Etch-a-Sketch?
Yes.
Do I remember it? Yes.
Yeah. So I was working for the Ohio Art Company doing this product called Bullfrog, which was this bend sensor technology little frog thing. And my girlfriend, Catherine, was doing Betty Spaghetti. And I remember, I'll never forget the day that QVC was coming in, the buying team, right? Because all the execs were like, oh my God, QVC. And I was the first person, they have showrooms and they make like a story in these showrooms. So the buyers are going from each place to each place. So I was the first person that they met. And then they go around the bin. There's like 8 products. Well, lo and behold, that afternoon, after we did our thing, a gentleman named T.O. Epps, who I come to later find out was the #1 buyer of toys and is still there today. His son, Keith, works on air. Keith's wife works on air. Gave me his business card. And this was a Wednesday. And he said to me, you need to go to QVC on Friday. They're having a host audition and you need to be a host. And I was like, I'm here and I'm contracted and da-da. And he goes, no, please talk to whomever, call this person. And he wrote someone's name down and their number, tell them that I sent you, blah, blah. So I talked to the people at Ohio Art, and I was like, hey, and they're like, listen, go. We'll let you out Friday early. We can, boom, boom. So I make the call to the person that he told me. They're like, come and see us as soon as you can get here. So I get there on that Friday at about 5 minutes to 3. Now, gals, I'm not going to lie. There were hundreds of people. I walked into Studio Park and I went up to I'm so green. I went up to the security guard and I was like, hi, I'm Kimberly Wells and I'm here to see so-and-so. And they're like, for what? And I was like, I'm here to audition. And they were like, auditions are closed. And I was like, huh? And they're like, these people have been waiting since 5 o'clock this morning. And there have been 15,000 people that have come through this door today. And I'm like, but no, I'm supposed to see blah, blah, blah. And I pull out my business card and they're like, and they pick up the phone and make a call. Needless to say, 2 minutes later, they're like, wait 1 second. Another gal came and picked me up at security, walked me past all these people up the stairs and sat me down. And they said, Jack Comstock, who was the vice president of on-air talent at the time, will be with you in 5 minutes. And I'm like, what's happening now? So anyway, I go in, I do my audition. They talk to me about something. They give me a couple of other things just off the cuff to sell. They did the proverbial pencil.
Yeah.
And said, thank you so much. We'll be in touch. I got a call back and went from 15,000 to 15 down to 5. And I did not get the job as a full-time host, but they said, we'd love to have you as guest. And for 3 years, I was a guest. At that time, back in 1997, you could cross-categorize.
Oh.
So I did multiple products. I did Tefal cookware. I did tanning. I did interactive play dolls. Like I did a lot, but I was hooked, gals, and then was pursuing it hard. And then 3 years into it, a scout from HSN saw me. HSN brought me down. 2 auditions later, I got the gig. And then 2 years later, when my contract came up, Catherine Amick, I'm not sure, Erin, if you were, I think
no,
she was.
Melissa talks about her a lot. She was your boss at shop. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was my boss at HSN. She hired many of the greats at HSN and she brought me up to shop and there you go. And then 16 years later on October the 9th, 2019, reduction of force. You're out.
At the beginning of the end, babe.
And who was in your class in that reduction of force? That was a big one.
Brian Kessler,
Yeah.
Christine,
Laura Duffick.
Skip.
Laura was not a host at the time.
Okay.
She was the guest. Skip was after me.
That was a gut punch.
Yeah, that was the worst.
There were 5 of us. I'm sorry.
That was the worst. But
Yeah.
okay, so you literally, we always talk about what a small world this is, but you did QVC, HSN, and Shop NBC, Shop HQ, the
Evine.
Evine, whatever it happens to be. I mean, not everybody does the trifecta. Like you did the trifecta and you did it really well.
Thank you. It's been an honor. It's a business that I love. It is a business that really feels like second nature to me. I mean, like you guys know, you form a community, you're just talking about really great things.
Yeah.
And I think the benefit of that business, it will never go out of fashion and never go out of style. And it's something I miss it. I miss it every single day.
Do you? Yeah.
Even though, like, I love my life on the ship, I do miss that connection of live television shopping every single day.
Yeah.
So how did your skill set from on air, from selling, from guesting, hosting, translate into what you were doing on the ship? You were Julie McCoy.
Yeah. So circle back before the home shopping days. I started on ships as a singer dancer. I fell in love, as you always do on ships. And the gentleman that was the musical director of my show, I was doing a show for Disney, was on board. And I thought after my 1 year was up, how can I stay on board? Well, lo and behold, and I'd always been into fitness and had my fitness certifications. The gal that was the Ship Shape director at the time had a death in the family, sadly. And I had left the ship to go do summer stock theater in Falmouth, Massachusetts. Well, Frankie, my boyfriend, called me. He's like, hey, Barbara is leaving. She's got to take an extended leave. Would you want to come back? They're looking for somebody. And I'm like, yeah, if it gets me back to be with you. And so I went.
Anything for the boy.
Right? And so I started doing cruise staff and then very quickly became the social hostess. Then I dumped the boyfriend.
Sorry, Frankie. Sorry.
Sorry, but here's the deal. So I dumped him, went for the cruise director. Then we left that line and went to Royal Caribbean and blah 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 blah. And but he and I are still friends to this day.
I love it.
He went on to marry a gal who was a purser. They have a beautiful child. When I'm in Vancouver last year, when I was in 2 years ago in Vancouver doing the Alaska season, they came on board the ship. He and I are still very much in touch. I've been to their home. Like this, like cruise family is very much the same as the shopping family, right?
Yes.
And so I've stayed in touch. There is with Royal Caribbean, they have their royal reunions every year. My friend Bucky Hurd is on national tour with Bill Medley from the Righteous Brothers,
right.
And he sings with him. My friend Julie, I've stayed connected with so many people from the ship industry, and it's kind of cool. So when the shopping network happened, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm not ready. I, called my therapist and
poured a glass of wine.
a glass of wine. You guys remember Heather Boschke?
Yes.
Right. And so HB and I just sat there over multiple bottles of wine and we're like, did the what color's my parachute? When are you the happiest? What? And it brought me back to ships. And so I reached out to 4 different lines. 3 lines offered me positions.
Wow.
And the America line was paying the least, benefits were the least. Everything was kind of less than what some other lines were, but the role itself spoke to me because it's about education, it's about enrichment, and it's about customer engagement and connection. With Royal, I was like, do you want to do the belly flop contest and the trivias and the bingos? I did that when I was 20. I'm going to be 60, girls. In December, I'm going to be 60.
And you're looking so good. We need to have a party.
You look better than you've ever looked, Kimberly. You look fantastic.
Okay, so I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because we need to stay in chronological order here so we don't confuse anybody.
Yes.
So we got into where you got into home shopping, which, by the way, especially getting into the home shopping in those years, the late 90s, early 2000s, we've talked about this a lot. I mean, that's the iconic...
The heyday.
Era of home shopping. Those are the original influencers. Like your part, do you ever recognize that? Like you were the first to do video sales. You were the first influencers. It really was that era of home shopping. And now when you look at even people on TikTok doing TikTok shops, it's just a micro version of what you and people were doing in the late 90s, early 2000s. So do you ever think about that? How cool that is?
I do, because, I think about like my behind the curtain show that I did, right?
Yes.
Before anybody was doing live selling on Facebook or Instagram, like we were doing this little show on Facebook in my apartment. And I think about that, Suzanne Summers, like Dimitri, some of the original icons of home shopping, and it's kind of crazy when I watch how it's evolved. And it's neat. But again, when we think about originals, I have a special guest to introduce you to.
What?
Because I'm so happy that you're here, but I'm in Florida. So when we talk about original,
wait, what?
Wait, you brought me
Callie Northaven.
Oh my God!
Started at HSN, within months of each other. She's an icon.
99.
Yeah, I started in 2000. She started in 99. Like
we're not worthy.
There is too much star power. There is too much star power.
I'm sweating. Sweating.
Okay, so I hope you don't mind. I brought a friend.
I'm so glad you did. This is amazing.
Yay! Two friends. Callie and wine.
Callie, pour your glass.
Yes.
Okay, when did you girls meet? What year did you girls meet? This is down at HSN.
Yeah. I started in April, end of April of 99. So,
and I started in 2000. So about May of 2000, and I met Callie, and she was like one of my first friends, and like
we got along like instantly.
She had that cute short hair, and all I wanted to do was be like Callie Northaven.
We all did.
Right?
Who didn't want to be?
Right?
Who didn't want that haircut? Oh, wait, Callie, where are you now? What are you doing? Are you staying? Are you moving?
I'm moving.
You are. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah. Cheers to that.
Cheers. Yeah.
Wow.
Life is such a wild journey. And
Isn't
I'm
it
just
crazy? So Becky and I have only been part of the home shopping industry for about 10 or 12 years. So what you guys have all experienced.
We are bowing down.
Totally. But it is such a wild ride. And like Kimberly was saying, I miss it. There is something about the adrenaline and the live TV and the interaction you can feel with the invisible people behind that camera. It can't be replicated anywhere else, right?
No, it's such a one-of-a-kind job. Like, it's just addictive because it's live and, shit happens.
Yeah. It sure does. It sure does. More than shit happens.
Horror stories. I mean, the fact that no one has really written a book. I mean, there have been some books that have been kind of ish like it, but where is the book of
girl? Where the book writes itself. All we have to do is take notes. You don't even have to put effort in. Like, we just combine our stories. Okay, so since we have the two of you here, will you both share one of your favorite memories, one of your favorite moments of home shopping? And then would you also share something that surprises everybody, whether it's a hardship or something that, like, I always share, people don't understand how hard the schedule is. Like, it's so grueling. Like, what's something that stands out as most memorable and exciting? And on the opposite side, what's something that's more difficult or hard to do than people would imagine?
It's such a good question.
I think I'm going to answer for Callie, and she and I haven't worked together in so long. But I was gone at this point. I'll never forget watching you do your first concert when y'all were doing the concert series.
Oh my gosh.
I did like all the musicians, Keith Urban, Michael Bolton. And because I loved Michael Bolton, I watched and I was like, oh, and you did everybody. Did you have a crush on somebody?
Totally. My guy has given me the gold key pass
to talk about it.
Yes.
Well, and to just be with Keith if he ever asks.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Most people never meet their hall pass, but
that's what you said too.
Most people never actually meet him.
Yes, and by the way, so when my family was in Tennessee, I saw Nicole Kidman at Radnor Lake, which was it's a park that was like half a mile from where Wes and Natasha were living. Uh-huh. And you would never have recognized her. I had only heard that when she's there, like, she's completely covered, right? She is hat, like gloves, like long sleeves, everything. And so one day, Indy and I was walking, she was riding her bike on training wheels.
Oh,
and she has a boyfriend.
Oh man, that happened too fast.
Right? It's going so fast. No. But I remember seeing, and I was like, that's Nicole Kidman. And I was like, and I never saw Keith in Nashville, but I saw Nicole so I felt like your hall pass. I met the other half.
Well, he remains my hall pass. I still have a crush on him. I get nervous, and I don't get nervous really, but I guess a couple of those concert moments I definitely did.
That's a starstruck one for
Kelly,
sure.
will you describe what a concert moment was like though for you? Because those haven't happened in quite some time, yeah? Or do they still happen?
They do still happen, just not the way they did. That was kind of the height of HSN. During the Andy Sheldon years of just so many big moments. So we still do some, but they're just a lot more underplayed. And I think he was doing a lot too. So we shall see.
Okay.
We shall see.
Callie, your voice is just freaking butter.
I know.
I could listen to that voice all day long.
Same.
So good.
We were listening around the corner when you guys started, and I was thinking the same thing about both.
Oh no, mine is more. This one tames me down a little bit. This is the calm to my storm. So, Kimberly, speaking of things that make you nervous, we have talked a lot about Suzanne Summers and how amazing it was to work with her. And listen, don't be humble when I say this. Suzanne probably worked at our network for I can't even remember how many years, and she refused to work with anybody but you.
Handpicked.
For about 90% of that time. Right? Yeah. It's true. What was that like? Because people still talk about Suzanne all the time.
I miss her. And what's so interesting is that the day that she died, I remember quickly going back to my phone, to look at messages from her, and they were gone. And
why?
I'm assuming the family shut down the phone service, and so it gutted me because I was on the ship, and actually it was Helen Keeney who texted me first. I was on a cruise, and Helen was like, "I'm not sure where you are or if you've heard, but Suzanne has passed," and I was gutted, and of course wrote to Julie, her Caroline and Bruce, and all of that. But I started at HSN and had the pleasure of being. Did you go on the cruise?
No.
Okay. So when they did the very first Suzanne Summers cruise, how weird is this now, right? Like circling
I
back.
didn't even know about this. Tell us everything. Go.
So they did a cruise, and P.S. And by the way, this little watch?
Yes. Do you still wear it?
You know what brand we sell on the cruise? I'm just saying. I walked by the gift shop the first day, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?
You can't escape it, baby. You can't escape it."
That and Effie, which is also on board. And then I proceeded to tell the people from the ship, "Oh, I worked with Mr. Effie and blah blah." And on the home shop, they had no clue. But Suzanne, so we did a cruise with Suzanne. And Carrie McNally was like an MC with Colleen. And I was like the backup girl at HSN. So if the signal had gone down the ship, I was like,
we were back here waiting. Oh, yes. Those are stressful. As boring as it is, you're like, please speed, don't go down.
Right.
Totally.
Remotes, right?
Yes.
So you're hoping that it doesn't happen. So I only worked with Suzanne once at HSN when I was there as a host. But when she was coming to shop, I was not the original choice. Someone else was chosen, and the first show did not go well. And so I was pulled in. Like I got a call.
Yeah, give it.
Her first show. Here's the dirt. And I think I had 5 glasses.
Heck yeah.
Watching from home. And I got the call, and they're like, "We need you to be in this." I'm like, 5 glasses. And they're like, you won't go on today, but we need you to come and meet the team, and you will go on tomorrow, and da 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 da. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
High pressure,
yes. Super. I got sober very quickly. Like they brought me in a different door, like all of that, because the person that was doing the show, like blah, 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 and met with the team and all of that, and went on the next day. And before I went, and I don't think she remembered me, but she knew I had the HSN connection, but I don't believe that she remembered working with me. And I said, "What can I do for you?" And she said, "Just do your job."
Ooh, wow.
Got it. And I kid you not, girls, if you remember Suzanne's set, like she had that big chandelier, and all that, and we always started on the stairs, and it was like a dance party. And Suzanne will tell the story that when we started that show that day, we like dance. And as I went to the preview, I put my hand on her back, and I went like this as we went to like the still shot to guide her to go and to go sit. And she told me after the fact that she knew in that moment that I had her back and that she was going to be okay.
Do you love it?
Right?
Yes.
The woman who's been on television in the movies, and she felt protected and cared for at that moment by me, and our relationship bonded. We had ups and downs, like when she had her cancer and she had reconstruction afterwards, I asked her, I was like, "Can I see?" Like, right? Yeah. And she goes, "Sure." And then she's like, "Do you want to touch?" I go, "Yes." Because she did stem cell building, and I wanted to know what that was like. So yeah.
There's some dirt.
Caroline, if you're watching, you know I love you, but you know it's a true story.
Yeah, girl, you had her back and you had her front, okay?
I can say that I did. So yeah, it was beautiful. And I will tell you that when I went to do my Everspace climb, that was when I was gone a month, and there was a rotation then, and she was angry with me for taking that time, and because then she had to then have someone else come in. And there was a moment of strain but I said, Suzanne, I love you, but I also need to have a life. And I need to go and do this. And I'm so sorry. And that's when others started coming in to the mix. And then, but I'm glad, because I really think that it opened up her brand. So many other of our colleagues and our friends that we're all still friends with have different ways of working. And I think it opened up her brand to others. So I was happy for her and for her brand, because not everybody liked me, right? And I get that. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So if you didn't like me, then you weren't going to watch Suzanne. But if you liked maybe some of the others, then
That's true.
So
I
was happy about that.
You were always so gracious that way.
Yes. So I was one of the young, naive, green new hosts who stepped in for a few hours with Suzanne and almost died. And Callie, you have to tell me if Kimberly was always like this, because we talk about this all the time. So in our industry, and I don't blame anyone for this, a lot of people will kind of gatekeep their success. And I get it, because we're all... Listen, no matter how close we are, it's a unique industry where your numbers matter and you can see your friends' numbers. And so I remember going in for Suzanne. And there are definitely people I've looked up to, mentors I've looked up to, who aren't as willing to share their secrets to success. You know, you'll ask for advice or you'll try to get a little nugget here, and they're perfectly polite, perfectly kind, but they keep their success to their chest. Now, Miss Kimberly Wells, I'm like, oh my God, Kimberly, I'm going to die. I'm sweating already. I got to go in with Suzanne, and I'm excited, but I'm nervous. I'm going to start to cry. And Kimberly gave me everything.
All the cards on the table.
Oh, she laid it out. She's like, this is how you start. This is how you go in for the kill. This is how you warm her. And she gave me every secret to success with Suzanne. And Kimberly, people say that about you all the time from Shop HQ. All the time. Like, you were so generous with your success.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a rarity.
Callie, do you see that too?
In her, yes.
Yes.
And it's a rarity to find it in others, because it's a bit of a
Cutthroat.
It is. I mean, it's very competitive.
Yes.
For those reasons. And I don't think it should be, but it is. It's just, I guess, the nature of sales.
Exactly. It's the nature of the business, and it's okay. Like, I respect everybody, you know, if they don't feel comfortable giving me their success stories. But boy, Kimberly laid it all out. And then I couldn't tell if I was more nervous or not. 'Cause I was like, I'm not ready.
No, don't blow it.
I don't know if you remember this, but are we name dropping?
Yes.
I mean... Listen, this is our whole job, so we have nothing to lose. It's this or OnlyFans, you guys. You're the ones who are employed.
I feel like I should do an OnlyFans account, but like, no.
How are those feet looking, Kimberly?
Nobody wants to pay for that. 60 so Erin, though, let's circle back, because girl, you are the same. And if you will remember back to towards the last year that I was there, and the Dubrows were there. And we know that Heather and Dr. Dubrow are very particular about their shows and the way they work. And I had one show, and it was not good. And then I was banned from doing any other shows with them.
One and done?
And one and done. Oh. And then somebody called out sick, and they were like 6 months later, and it was me, myself, and I. And I remember I asked you, what's the secret to your success with them? And you gave me the best advice. And I went out there, and I was Erin friggin' Newberg in that show. And the show
Goosebumps again.
Made its money.
Good.
Better than that, both of them said afterwards, oh my God, what have we been missing by not working with you? Can we please blah, blah, and and I was on their rotation every single time until the end. And when I got reduced in force, I got an email from them and wishing me all the best. And if there was anything that they could do for me, to please utilize the contact.
Wow.
So
Fantastic.
Kimberly.
It's the truth. I don't know if you remember what you told me. I could tell you exactly what you told me. And and it was the truth. So cheers.
Oh, I'm
Cheers
happy
to
that
that.
worked. Oh, I'm so happy. Well, you already know what you're doing, but like Chuck Clemency once told me, Kelly, do you know Chuck Clemency? He was a jewelry vendor and guest at Shop HQ for a long time, and now he's down at Shop LC. He once told me right when I started, he said, listen, Erin, not every guest is the same. Not every show is the same. He's like, if you think you're going to do every show the same, you're going to fail. And he was like, you got to know who you're working with.
That's a good
and
word.
make sure you don't got to change, but you got to tailor what you're doing, you know? And so sometimes it's just those small tweaks that make a big impact on different shows or categories, don't you think?
Well, and let's talk about a very important show for Kimberly Wells. I'm going to say 3 words to you, my love. Evine After Dark.
I'm so proud of you. I love it.
Callie, did you have to clutch your pearls when you found out Miss Kimberly Wells was doing you?
You also tried, because they tried
I wanted to. I was like, I had all these, like, I'm like, I will work the overnights if you want me to sell some satin sheets and some sex toys.
Heck yes.
Nobody did it better.
Nobody better than you guys.
Good for
You know, I am very proud of that show.
Yes.
You should be.
Whether or not you're into all of that, to me, the education and the empowerment of being a woman
Yes.
and taking your own personal pleasure into your own hands is very important. And I know it ruffled a lot of feathers. And I do believe even with the management that left and then came back and was ultimately the ones responsible for me leaving, I don't think they understood that.
Right.
But I will never forget, so we opened an email account because we were not going to take calls, because obviously we knew that we would get
Mm-hmm.
the people, those calls.
The watch guys.
We had an email account that was live and interactive, that didn't show like your email when it came back. It was very discreet. And reading the emails from men and women who felt like they had a safe place. So having Jen Elmquist there, who was, our medical, sex therapist and doctor and all of that, gave credibility to it.
Yes.
And it wasn't about necessarily a toy. It was about having a forum to talk about something that's very natural and very real.
Mm-hmm.
And many of us are closed off about it, from whether it's our religion or the way we were brought up or whatever it may be. And to have a girlfriend and a doctor that could openly discuss these things. I was so proud of that.
It was
show.
amazing. And from a business perspective too, Kimberly, taking those hours that could have been quiet hours and doing gangbuster numbers.
Yeah.
I'll never forget
I love that too.
For the first 4 weeks, it was very strategic the way we planned it. The first 4 weeks was more about lotions and candles. We didn't do any of the personal massagers. And I fought that because I said to the management at the time, are we afraid of it? If we're going to do the show, let's just go for it. And they said, we want to start slow. And you guys remember Tom Dahl?
Of course. Yes.
And so on week number 5, and it was going to be an 8-week trial, week number 5, we started with the personal massagers. And for all of you who maybe are not aware, in television sales, you have a goal, an hourly goal that you need to meet as far as dollars and cents go. And gals, I will never forget, it was 17 minutes after the hour.
You made the gower.
And in my ear, he goes, "Goal!" And I looked at him and I was like,
wow.
oh. And he goes, you not.
You can say shit here.
And we sold out of every single one of the personal massagers.
Yes.
And
Unreal.
that show was replayed at 5 a.m.
Wow.
Broke all records for a 5 a.m. time slot. But we also got a lot of flack. And we never again showed it at the 5 a.m. time slot because there was a lot of flack from guests, from viewers about what kids were awake at perhaps certain times.
Different time zone. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
different
suppose.
time zones, East Coast.
Long story longer, I'm very proud of that. And
As well
I
you should be.
never regret doing that show ever.
You were really ahead of your time in so many ways. Behind the Curtain was really ahead of your time. One of the very first like social media sales. And then even After Dark, very ahead of its time. Because I also think something that we've always talked about, because the viewers that we've shopped with, it's really helping them feel comfortable and confident. And when you think about, you know, personal massagers and, you know, everything you had in your show, it's also like, where else is a girlfriend really going to tell you about this where you can still remain anonymous? Like the viewers got to remain anonymous and learn from you without having to go to a party, you know, with their neighbors, or without having to walk the aisles of a store. So I think it's, for the people who are looking into that, I think it was a great value to be able to learn and still hold, you know, your privacy if you so choose. Right?
I mean, there was an integrity to it that was important to me, and it wasn't meant to be
silly.
Silly.
Wait, I got to tell you this. When our network was closing down, and, you know, it was kind of Lord of the Fliesy towards the end. There's just sort of like, nobody ever knew exactly what was.
I missed it.
What did you say?
Was there a sale? Because I missed it.
There was a big sale. So the back warehouse, like props, was open, and I don't know if it was a free for all, or I don't know how people started walking back there, but think of all the props and the sets that were sort of wide open, and you would see people walk by with a framed picture, a chair. And there was a small box of hardcover books that outlined Evine After Dark, and people were fighting over who got them because they all wanted to bring them home as like their memories.
That was the treasure.
Yeah, so like 5 or 6 people got them. But do you have one of those books, the hardcover books?
Well, I do.
Okay, yeah. Because I know a few people who walked out with them, but it really recapped it really well. And, you know, you went down at the very, very end. Those books were still there and people were fighting over them. So you did something right, girly.
Very cool.
You guys, don't forget, Isomers is now partnering with So Happy You're Here podcast to give you an exclusive 20% off your order. You go to isomers.ca. You'll get 20% off your order. If you're at $100 or more, they'll ship it to you for free directly to your house. It's an exclusive savings just for all of you listening. If you haven't been introduced to Isomers before, they are the best cosmetic chemists in the world. Scientifically proven results for over 30 years. If you don't know where to start, there's an easy quiz to take at isomers.ca, or if you just want to go for their icons, their hyaluronic acid, their fast lift eye serum, their copper P, it's all available, and it's exclusively for you with Happy20 to get that 20% off your order.
Yeah.
Okay. What is something about this industry from the two of you that you think would surprise people?
Oh, for some reason, what seems to surprise people to this day is that like the ticker on the clock or on the screen is real.
Yes.
Right? Literally have sold 10,352 of these.
Right.
Which is always surprising to me because it's always accurate. And so many people think we record the shows.
Yeah. Right? Yes. Kelly, do people ever think you're on a teleprompter? Because people always thought we were on a teleprompter.
Yes.
Yes.
Which, you know, you guys know. I don't know where it comes from, but it comes from.
That's right.
I think in like the teleprompter thing. So do you remember HSN when we were doing Super Bowl? So 2002, 2003 or something. Mm-hmm. And we were at the stadium and we were doing live, like it was like be a host for the day. And we all worked in shifts, right? Yes. And I worked the very last shift, and like Gail Gallardo, who's like a local Tampa gal. She has her own television show now. Her brother Paul was the head of marketing at the time or whatever. So all the new Sam Champion came in.
Oh, yes.
All the newscasters that were there for the Super Bowl came there. And so I did the very last shift, and I'll never forget, Sam Champion like walked in and he was like, "So where's the teleprompter?" And I was like, and I was just like, this is like blah, 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 blah. And they were all very surprised that we have a card that has like item number, price, maybe top 3 features and benefits.
Yes.
And then the rest is the gift that you have. Mm-hmm. And that was the biggest surprise, I think, that we're not being fed everything that we say in our ear. You know,
I have so many guests that'll, especially when they're new and they come on the air for the first time, and they just sit there and go, "You guys amaze me."
Yeah.
They just stand in awe of how you know so much about so many things. Learn so many things, but a lot of studying at the beginning, and then it does become kind of more just like the category becomes just more fluid and things.
Do you
just
have a favorite? Like if you had to choose a favorite category, do you have a favorite?
I do. I love fitness.
Yeah. Nice.
I love selling fitness because I know something good is going to come out of it for everybody. It's not like, here's a cute, like, put that up on your shelf, or where this.
Yes.
Love that it's really a positive step towards a better life.
Yeah.
I think, well, I love entertaining and I love cooking and I love home. And so, but I do, especially as I'm getting older now, the health and wellness category is very important to me. Like my skin is changing. Like I just had a peel like 2 days ago. So I'm like shedding like a snake.
Girl, you keep saying that, but you look nothing but flawless. I don't know what you're talking
over
about.
there.
Yeah. Only Callie can see. We're not a big enough podcast to have high def yet, so don't worry about it, girl.
It's like shop. It's very lo-fi.
You're running with the lo-fi girls.
Just wait till you get to hi-fi. Then we're going to charge you to be on this like podcast. You know, it'll be like, girl, like you rocking out. What are your favorite? Like I know fashion is how you two got together, but if you had to choose, would it always be fashion?
Yeah, I think fashion and beauty for me. I love beauty as well. Like I love it so much. And because I don't know, Callie, I inherited our Saturday morning show, Wake Up in Style, from Sarah Anderson. When she came down to you, I inherited that show. So Becky and I were her first guests. And then when she moved to HSN, I stepped into the host role, and then Becky continued. We were hosting guests, but really we co-hosted it together. Yeah. I mean, we just did it together. So fashion, but I think fashion because it had this huge community of women. I mean, I think when you have a fashion show, you can feel the energy of the gals. It's fun. You know, I think it's a less considered purchase. From where we were coming from, it was, price points where you could buy something every day or you could get 3 or 4. So it was more fun and exciting, I think. Yeah. And then beauty, I loved the education of it. I would geek out about, the nerdy part about it. And I was always so impressed with our beauty vendors and guests.
Manuela.
Yeah. Dimitri that you have now. Of course, Beekman started back in the day, and so many great people. And then Becky mostly did fashion.
That's my jam. I mean, but you know what's so fun is you guys had the variety because I've only ever guested. I only did fashion
for 12 straight years.
Hello,
girl,
you can only talk about so much poly span.
Did you ever want to be a host of Full Time Back? Was that like ever in your thought process?
I call it my 29-day hosting career. So when Sam took over DG2, I was his second for One World at Shop. And in that time, I was hosting for 29 days. And then he left and I took over One World. So it was, I did do it, but it was, it was sort of a temporary.
Right.
And you know what, you guys, I bow down. There is so much research that goes into it. And in the day, Callie, I don't know if it's like this at HSN now, but when we started, the buyers were so good at informing the hosts. They would do these massive presentations and really equipping the hosts. Well, as time went on, that was less and less and less.
Sure.
So it was a lot of research and it was a lot of, DIY.
Yeah. A lot of,
for you guys.
Yeah. Well, yes. And that was circumstantial, I think.
Do you know what I mean though? So I think that was, I could do it in my sleep. I could do the fashion in my sleep, but to have to learn a new category like that. Yeah. You guys are sharp, really sharp.
You guys know that. So Callie and I was a couple months, 8 months after her when we started HSN. But when I got let go from Shop and that reduction of force, and I was then going to represent Jambu.
Yes, right.
You know that she was my very first host.
Yes.
We launched Jambu on HSN from my apartment in Minnesota, which you've both been to.
Yes.
Callie and and I was like,
And didn't you crush that one? I mean, didn't you absolutely crush those goals?
Crushed it.
It was like, what just happened?
Yeah. It was great. And then Deb, who was our vendor rep, was watching from, her home in Boston. And Deb and I then started a ritual of, after every show, we would have a gin and tonic. We got the show. And she was like, okay, you and Callie. I'm like, hello. 3:00 in the morning that we went to sleep and I had to be back for the morning show. I'll never forget, because for me, it was like full circle to come back to HSN as a guest after I was like so devastated at being removed.
Yeah.
And then to have the opportunity to go back with Jambu, which is a brand that I love, and then to do it with her and to have a success. I mean, we killed it and broke like every record for today's specials from that category at the time. And yeah.
I expect nothing less from the two of you. In fact, I could have predicted it. Yes. So now I feel like, so you've both been in this industry since the early 2000s. And I think one of the things that we've noticed in the past 10 years, we've gotten to meet so many women and we've stuck together for so many years, is like the evolution. You know, home shopping is evolving. We all evolve. Like, what is your best advice for women who are now, you know, Kimberly said, I'm going to be 60 in December. You know, it's like we're constantly in a new season of life. Yeah. And I think a lot of times women are looking at, you know, the two of you thriving. Like, what's the secret? What do you do? I heard that, Kimberly.
I have a boyfriend.
Is it a boyfriend from Australia? Not all of us can get one of those.
I came in on the very beginning of this new love. Okay.
There's no value pay on that, Kimberly.
No,
that's hard to come by.
It's all pay as you go.
Well, because, you know, Kimberly lives life to the fullest. And I think a lot of people look, you know, you get to a certain age and you think, okay, this is my life. This is what I've done. Yeah. You know, or you think like we are all experiencing the end of something. And if you reframe it into it's actually the beginning of something.
Well, and Callie, you're making the move. You know, you were faced with a choice, you know, what to do. Was that something to kind of consider, or how did you go about making that decision?
Such good questions, girls. I've always been a believer. Thank you so much. She just poured me like a half a bottle.
Well, she's about to tell you about the new man, so saddle up.
My whole life through, though, the truth is I've always been a believer of like, life is just such an incredible journey if you're willing to take the ride. And I've just been willing to hold on tight and take those detours as they come. And this one was like, what? So I'm like, let's go. Like, you know, too short to not just keep it coming.
It's so good.
Because I just turned 62 in February.
No, you did not. You're 62?
Look at these stone cold foxes.
Oh my gosh, we're doing something wrong.
Actually, by the way, when my family moved to Florida, I called Chicken Little here and I go, I need a hair stylist. And so she turned me on to her girl, Corey. And so I was just seeing Corey today and got color and cut and thanks to her. So we go to the same, yeah.
You look amazing. You look amazing. Becky still goes to her high school boyfriend for her hair. And we'll get into that in another episode. Okay. Her hairstylist is her high school boyfriend, but that's for another time. Kimberly.
How many dogs do you have now, Becky? And do they miss me?
The baby puppers. I've got two. I've got Miss Winifred is the young upstart. And then Stella, I think you met before last time you were here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're the sweetest. And my dog is also the exact same yellow lab, but she's bossy. And so she has to be quarantined when the other two are around. Kimberly, what's the secret to living your life at the fullest right now? Like, what do you tell people? Because we were just talking about Callie. She's moving. You know, Becky and I are figuring out what's next. Is it this podcast or OnlyFans?
What makes my name? Maybe not.
You know, our dear friend Jess Manuel, by the way, she says hi. You know, she always says life is right on time all the time. Just trust the process.
Do you know she's an intuitive now, Kimberly?
I have. I've been following her Instagram and saw that she's doing her medium
readings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. My hope and dream is I believe that after this next contract, if all things go where they're going in January, I will be spending 90 days doing Australia and New Zealand. So I plan on seeing Miss Jess Manuel in person.
Good.
And the three of us might just show up and get a room together and hang out with you for a little bit. You never know. Watch out.
cruise with me, girls, and let's do your podcast live from the ship.
I would love it.
Wait, could we do like a cruise with all the girls one day?
Yeah. You know, I was talking to Josh and Brent about doing that
Really?
back on, like, if we think back when Suzanne did in the Invicta cruises and stuff like that. Said to Josh and Brent, let's do a Beekman
You
cruise.
really should.
We really should. Like it, yeah.
I love that idea because they're such travelers.
Yes.
Worldwide.
And they used to do those like lifetime trips. Remember those lifetime trips back in the day?
Didn't they go to the Taj Mahal?
Yes.
And
Yes, I remember that. That was way back in the day, though. Right, definitely. I wonder if goats are allowed on international waters. We'll have to see if they're allowed to.
A port that has a goat or two or three.
Really?
So, like, yeah.
So tell us what it's like being on the cruise in the next phase of your life and how you're living life to your fullest at nearly 60,
And
girl.
P.S. for 1 year straight through, no stops, no, what in the wide world?
No. So no.
Girl, you're so cute.
So my whole life is like in a little 125 square foot little cabin.
Okay.
The rest of my life is in a storage unit in Colorado. Woo! And yeah, I love it, gals. Like it is hard and it's long hours and it's, you know, I'm on call 24/7 and you don't have a day off. And the whole, like, so I just did 142 days. 124 was the world cruise, but I joined earlier. So it was 142 days straight of no day off. I have hours off during the day, but
Die.
right. And, it's crazy, but the connection and the people that you meet and when you realize how you can touch someone and how you can be part. I mean, there's birth, there's death, there's life happens, right? On board a ship, things don't stop because you're on vacation on a world cruise. And I have met so many incredible people that have changed my life. And equally, I also know that me being part of their life has made a huge difference. So I am very thrilled. Very, very thrilled with what I'm doing. I'm exhausted. I just got off the ship late Friday night. I'll have 2 months off and I'm flying to Dubai tomorrow. And
For what? For anything
We're going to
special?
turn into 7th graders right here.
Anything
Ooh.
special?
and then I'm going to be coming back. And and then I'm going to go to Oregon and to Jackson Hole and do some hiking.
Oh, I love that.
And then I'm going to go on an Alaska cruise, I'm going to live this next 2 months like out loud hard. I think I've always, for those of you who have been on my Facebook page since the beginning of time, like I have Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying. Like Shawshank Redemption is my all-time favorite movie. And I just, I lost both of my parents at a very young age. And I am a firm believer that you are the maker of your own destiny. And I know that I've been accused of being polypositivity and being like this optimistic, like person, and it's not real. But it is for me. And I was raised by a stepmother who I was blessed to have been brought into my life at the age of 5, who allowed me, probably sounds harsh, but I guess it was 5 minutes to feel sorry for myself. When life hit the fan and things went wrong, she's like, listen, 5 minutes, laugh, scream, cry, do whatever you need to do. But after 5 minutes, you're on a friggin' hamster wheel and it's getting you nowhere. Yeah. So after 5 minutes and you get it all out, let's go. Let's make the next step. Let's turn it around. How can you get out of this spiral? So I don't live in a place of negativity. I even went shop and that weekend, I spiraled for the weekend, but then it was like, boom, I was off and running. What did I do? I started working for Shipt. I started delivering other people's groceries. I'll never forget, girls. It happened on a Thursday. Saturday morning, I got my Shipt ID, and Sunday morning I was at Kowalski's in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, and I went into Elliott Smith. Do you remember Elliott?
Of course, yes.
And I'm wearing my Shipt green shirt, And he goes, what are you doing? And I'm like, I have to have a job. I'm delivering groceries. And I bust out crying. And Elliot's like, I know somebody who's looking for a guest at TSC in Canada for a teeth whitening product. He calls the person
on
right
the spot.
On the spot as I'm bawling. And
wow.
Needless to say, 2 weeks later, I was on a plane going to Canada.
That's right, girl.
Product in Canada, like, right? And I still, to this day, I don't rep them any longer. I still buy that product to
yes.
this day.
And guess what? You wouldn't have got that job if you weren't working Shipped, because you wouldn't have ran into Elliot.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
That's the journey.
Yes. Do what you got to do, like, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good word, sister. That is really, really good. Somebody needed to hear that.
It is. I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. Oh,
you are the real deal.
And what a surprise having Kelly here. Like, this is insane.
Kelly,
That's going to go down in history.
We've been trying to get together. I'm only here for 4 days, and it was like blah 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 blah, and we like had some things and like that. And I was like, she's like, I'm free after 3:30. I'm like, I gotta do this podcast. Do you want to come? And then I was like, let's have you be a surprise.
It's so good.
In the background,
I was just sitting over there.
I
love you so much.
Well, Kelly, we are so happy to meet you. We've never met, and I am just so honored. Thank you for doing this.
Gosh, me too.
Hey,
to meet
have
you
her
guys.
as a guest when she moves up to PA and have her back.
We would love that
Yes.
more than anything, because there's so much more to talk about than just what in our shows. You know, there's so much to talk about behind the scenes, which is why we started this anyway, is like you get to know and have these relationships with people, and we got to talk more about more than just the item numbers and the value pays.
There's honestly not enough hours in the day. That always got in the way of our visiting.
I know.
The selling.
That job of ours.
Okay, but here's my question.
Yeah.
Erin, have you done a cartwheel and a split since Betsy Johnson, or
Oh my
what?
God, I love you so much.
Can I see it right now? Is there a split in the future from you?
I'm going to need to work on the split. Give me about a week. I got to get into a runner's lunge. Okay. Give me a week, but I've got the cartwheels on lockdown. Okay. And in a high heel. That was the best birthday ever. Oh my gosh.
That's a great memory.
I could talk to you guys for hours, but thank you so much for sharing everything with us. Thank you for being a special guest, Callie.
Yeah.
Where can everybody, Callie, where can everybody follow you and shop with you? And when do you make your big, transition and up to Pennsylvania?
The transition is going to just kind of be seamless. No one will really even know that it's going to look exactly like it still looks. HSN is still HSN. QVC is still QVC. We'll be in different studios. So it really isn't like this big launch of like, now we're in PA.
Sure.
But you can follow me. I'm not the biggest social girl.
My girl up top. Me neither.
It's _Calla Lily on Instagram, and Facebook, it's just me. So I'll do a better job in the future. It's one of my goals.
Well, if you've only shopped Shop HQ in the past, or if you only shopped as our network, formerly known as Shop NBC, Evine, Value Vision, Shop HQ, and you've never shopped HSN or QVC before, make sure you're following Callie.
Absolutely.
She works with Sam on DG2. She has great fashion collections there. So if you miss our fashion, like Sam talked about last week, there's a ton of fashion that they have that we know you'll love. Like, we've seen it, we've felt it, we've worn it. You will love it. So make sure you stay in touch with Callie there. And Kimberly, how can we follow your world travels and come with you?
Kimberly Wells Media on Facebook and at I'm Kimberly Wells on Instagram. Please follow me, and I'll take you around the world, and who knows where you'll see me next. So,
my gosh.
Wow.
Where in the world is Kimberly Wells?
I'm putting it on my vision board that we all do a cruise.
Yes.
I love that.
And you know what's
So happy
really
you're here.
is that when Jambu was first being launched and I first got the ship job, and it was like, how can we continue this? We put together a marketing thing for HSN that was, where in the world is Kimberly Wells? And what happened was, I was on the ship, the very first show we were supposed to do, and the ship's security is so intense as far as internet goes, that the firewall and all of that, I couldn't go live with the camera.
That's right.
And so what we thought was going to be a great thing, where I was going to take you around the world with me as still as the rep, ended up, because security was just like, we can't allow it. And so unfortunately that happened. But yeah. Bye-bye.
So can people sign up for your cruises though and be on your cruise that you're leading?
America line, please go visit hollandamerica.com. And cruise with me. I would love to see you on a cruise.
I want to do it. I really
Let's
would
do
love
it.
to.
I'm in. That would be amazing. Yes.
I'll coordinate it. We'll do a girls' cruise. We'll do this thing live. And
Oh, like,
wish you were here, and then you are.
yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be so amazing. You two, we're not just saying this because you're here. You're industry icons. You paved the way for people like us just to have some good old fashioned fun in home shopping. And we really look up to you and admire you. And we're so honored that you're both here. So happy to have you here. Yeah.
A pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay, a quick reminder, you guys, our first supporter of our podcast, it's Daily Fascia. Daily Fascia offers the most practical, easy to follow techniques to help you unlock your body's hidden potential. It's for freedom, it's for flow, it's for relief. If you're struggling with recurring injuries, stiffness, or you just want to move more freely, Daily Fascia has got you covered. You're going to use the code HAPPY50 to get 50% off your first course at dailyfascia.com. We have all the information for her different coursework, her YouTube channel, all listed and tagged below. You guys, do us a huge favor, please. Will you like this podcast, share it, or subscribe? Because that helps, right, Bex?
It will help us a ton.
It will. And I don't know if we've helped you, but if you don't mind helping us, that'd be great.
Fair's fair.
Love you.